Jim Simmons is the perfect example of revolution. I mean, he's the face of quant trading. Prior to when he arrived at Wall Street, trading was done traditionally, which is not bad, but he took trading to a whole new level with quant trading. Statistics say that he'll be the richest investor, assuming he did it earlier, probably when Warren Buffett started as well. Hi guys, my name is Tunji, and I just finished cooking at the TCO podcast.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Cheer on Her podcast. I genuinely did not like this week. I don't know why, I don't know what happened, but there was this wave of shady that came with this week. And honestly, April was a soft month for me. Like the days were just going by so smoothly. But this particular week is like accumulated sugar. You know when like you've been, you know, like having it all and then this wave of sugar just hits you. That's how this week has felt. I don't know if it's the fuel scarcity in Nigeria. I don't know if it's the heat, but anyways. Sunji, how was your week?
Oh, my week has been stressful so far.
So
But
like you think like there's something in the air, like everybody is stressed.
I think it depends on what you do.
Like basically for you, how has it been?
Yeah, stressful.
Stressful. So there might be something in the air.
Oh, basically, I sleep. I, s- I, c- I, s- I catch little amount of sleep. That's been affecting me.
Okay, normally or just this week?
No, normally, that's like the way it has been
Yes, you
for.
guys, Tunji has a problem, so I should have asked him that. That's true. But okay. But basically, how have you been this week?
No, I'm fine. I'm okay.
Anyhow, you guys should really, I'll put it up. Like, I really want to know how this week has been. I want to know if it's just me or if it's everybody. But basically, you tell us how your week has been. So, as you can see, Tunji is back on the podcast, and we have one mission to debunk all the lies that have been told to you in your 20s. So, we're doing a part two. We're doing a part two because I got a lot of reviews from the last one, and I'm like, I'm giving you guys content that you guys like. Plus, a lot of people didn't agree with Tunji. They were like, nah, what's that guy saying? What's that guy saying? And I told him, Tunji, people are not on your side. People are not on your side. People are not having what you're saying. So I felt like, yeah, we should do a part two. So, Tunji, how do you feel doing this part
I'm
two?
more than excited than the last time I came. So I mean, I'm up for it. I'm not really surprised that like people have disagreements because the podcast in itself is quite a controversial one. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So let's see what this episode has for us. So let's get right into it. But before we go right into it, you guys, Tunji offended me. And I decided to, clear the whole thing on the podcast. I decided to clear the whole thing on the podcast. Tunji, are you blank or are you very aware of the wickedness?
I can I can remember, but I can't. Maybe it's wickedness. Okay, no, I can't say it's wickedness.
I'm
It's
joking.
like
I'm not saying you're wicked.
it's
But
like a
basically,
flaw. It's like a flaw of mine when I want to say something. I don't know how to. I don't know how to be diplomatic. I think that's the word. Yes, like I say
that
things
is
the way they
why you
are.
wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning and send me such a voice note.
Okay, here is the problem, guys. So it's this question I've been asking Chidera for quite a while. Like, there's a topic we've been talking about back and forth, and when you've been asking somebody a particular question, and for some reason the person not answering it, I'm like, how far? Like, why is this person not answering my question? So that was what it was about, and I don't know. I think it was quite hard. Yeah, but yeah.
Anyhow, so it's what I got from that whole experience is the whole communication, especially like in your 20s. So I think I know Tunji. Tunji, do you? I think I know Tunji to an extent, or do I not know you? I don't know. That's how people are so funny these days. That's how I tell my friend, "Oh, I think I know you," and then the person's like, Chidera, you don't know, you don't know. So, do you think I know you?
A part of my personality, yes.
Okay, basically, but based on the little I know of Tunji is, I feel like with him, communication, friendship wise, relationship wise, you need to be in his space. So I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you value like everyday communication with your friends.
Yeah, I know it's not easy, yeah, but yeah, I'm very, very big on communication.
So like in this current world where like people are, let's say I went to the same school now with Kendi, and then we obviously we're used to being in each other's space, and now life has happened. She's probably started her internship, going to NYC or something, and I'm in my own phase of life and things like that. So do you feel like friends have an excuse not to communicate with each other daily, especially in your 20s when everybody's kind of trying to like figure out your shit, they're trying to figure out your life? So do you feel like there is actually a justification to say, nah, I can't reach out to Chidera every day? Like, do you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I'll start by saying this. There's this thing Elon Musk says. He says that if something is important enough, you do
So
it.
did somebody ask me if Elon Musk is your brother?
Oh, but I mean, I'm a huge,
I'm
I'm
sorry,
a
but I
huge
think
Elon
that
Musk.
guy was angry.
I'm a huge Elon Musk fan. But he says that if something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are highly stacked against you.
Okay.
So I feel like for everything in life, there's always an excuse as to why you can't do it. Like think of anything, failures, like whatever it is, and excuses are the trademark of failures. So I think communication. I don't think it is as difficult as we make it sound. You can just literally text the person, "Hey, how's your day? How are you doing?" Simple.
But Tunji, do you also feel like for friendships people differ? So let's say Phoebe is my friend, and I don't really talk to Phoebe every day. I try to talk to Phoebe once a week. But because of my nature, I don't feel like there's anything wrong. I feel like I can digest all my issues from Monday to Friday to Phoebe. Like I can tell her everything that happened throughout the week. But Phoebe wants me to communicate with her daily. So do you also think that it's also like depending like the two people? Do you understand? Like let's say you have a friend that her name is something, sorry, and and then she wants to communicate with you, like she doesn't have an issue maybe because of her busy schedule, so she feels like we can talk every week. She will download everything that happens to you, she'll tell you everything that happened to her. But you, on the other hand, if the person is not with you that day, it's gone, like it's gone, and it feels like you have nothing to say. So
Okay. First of all, I understand that people are different, but then me, I always tell people that the same way you are not a communicating person, the same way I am a communication person. And if that is your style, no problem. But here is this reason I always give. I feel like if you do weekly or if you do, I don't know, whatever
yeah,
time.
I'm just using weekly as I don't know how people communicate with their
Okay,
friends. Yeah.
but if it's weekly, if it's once in a while, whatever it is. First of all, I feel like the word friendship has been watered down a lot. If we actually go by what,
It means
yeah, what a friend is. But I mean, it's still. I think people have different meanings because you see people they just met somebody like for a few weeks and like, oh, that my friend. But I think for me it doesn't work, and the reason is because things happen to people every day, every day. I don't think, and this may seem extreme, but I don't think I'll be happy if my friend dies, God forbid, and I'm finding out 2 days later. Yeah, because if I check up on you every day and you don't maybe reply my text, or I call you, you don't pick, I'll definitely know something is up. Like, what's wrong? If I have the contact of maybe your siblings, your mom, like I'm going to
yeah.
call, like, what's happening. So, and sometimes too, there are things that you want to share. My point is, here is the thing. This same thing you spoke about. There was a friend, I mean, a previous friend, anyways.
Your ex friend.
Yeah, ex friend. Yeah. So there was something that
How do you
happened.
even call people ex friends, basically?
Ex friends are people that I am not as close to as before. I mean, this person
Do you guys break up? Oh, I'm not your friend anymore. Or do you guys just drift apart?
we just drifted apart. I think certain things you know when it's happening. You probably don't need closure.
But do you feel like we should have like friendship breakups where I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be your friend anymore. You know what, Choma, I don't want to be
I
your friend
don't
anymore.
think that should be said because not everybody has the maturity to handle it. If you tell somebody that, let's say you need their help, for something that you know that they can come, like they can help you with. Because you said that, they can think of it as maybe you are enemies, right? There are different types of relationships. They are acquaintances, they are colleagues. So the fact that you're no longer friends with somebody is not the end of the world, right? But then I just don't know if we go by what you just said, if people have the mental fortitude to handle it. But basically, my friend I'm talking about, at the time we were friends, and she's not a communication person. I'm like, okay, well, let me see if this thing can work. So we spoke, I think, like a month after, and I didn't know my friend anymore. I just couldn't hold up with it. It was like she was a different person. And that, like, this is what I always say, like, she was saying a lot of things that happened and I couldn't handle it. And even if you do weekly or monthly, what is the probability that you're going to share everything that is important enough?
No, that's the thing. It depends. Honestly depends. So I feel like with this friendship thing, I feel you know when your friend is drifting apart. I don't need to talk to Phoebe every day for me to know that, oh, we're not drifting apart. Do you understand? I don't need to talk to a particular. You will just know when.
Sorry, when do you know that? When do you know? Sorry, they are drifting apart.
When do you know?
Yeah, you said you just know when you guys are drifting.
I don't know. I'll just feel it. I don't know.
Because let's be honest, communication brings intimacy, and my problem with this communication things, it is not hard. What is hard in picking up your phone and texting, hey, how are you doing? And if we're going by the word friends, that means you don't have a lot of them.
That's true, sure.
Yeah, so maybe maximum you have 5. Because let's be honest.
But do you actually agree with me? But they're actually friends that you don't need to talk to them every day, but you guys are still friends. Does that make sense?
That happens. I'm not saying that doesn't happen. But once again,
like, I'm not even talking about like, oh, an acquaintance, like your friend. Like, you guys don't talk every day, but you know that this is my guy, this person is for me. Like, I don't know. Or what can you call that? Are you saying we're not friends?
No, see, if you can remember, I said this is relative. What I see as a friend, I want somebody I can talk to every day. Right? And like,
so basically, you cannot have a friend that you don't talk to every day.
No, it's a deal breaker for me. If you can't talk every day, I'm sorry. We're done.
You're done in what?
Like, with the friendship, like, I'm very, very ruthless with certain things, and I just.
Have you had a friendship breakup before?
Yeah, quite a number.
You'd be like, sorry, I'm not your friend anymore.
No, I don't do that.
That's what I'm saying. But sorry, what I mean like you're opening your mouth to say.
Yeah, the thing is that I am a very blunt person, like you were saying at the beginning. But at the same time, I can handle when somebody is blunt. How many people can handle it, right? And sometimes you just have to be intelligent enough to know that. Do you know that even when you and somebody are not friends, do you know that both of you know?
Yeah.
But then nobody wants to talk about it, right? So it's something I can talk about, but then how are they going to take it? It's better for us to remain at that level, because I know, like, the world is bigger than both of you.
Yeah.
There are times you need people's help. That some people haven't spoken to in months, but then when I need help, they come through for me. So, but then I still believe that for a communication to be well-oiled, for a friendship to be well-oiled, you need communication. I don't have a lot of them. Maybe I can count them on one hand, my friends. Yeah. Like, if I'm going by friends, one hand, I can count them. I don't think they're up to 3. Yeah.
Yeah. I just feel like even if I don't speak to Rio every day, I feel like the love is still there and we can pick up from wherever we started. But at the same time, what if Rio does not feel like if Chidera doesn't talk to her every day? Like, do you get? Like,
well, I feel if that works, if that works, no problem. But once again, I've seen cases where me and somebody, they told me in quotes, oh, I'm not the communication type. I call you weeks later, you tell me, oh, Tunji Junior was sick. And I'm like, okay, sorry. But then...
What about that sick thing, though? Tunji, when you're sick, do you just pick up your phone and tell your friend, I'm sick? Maybe.
I don't pick up my phone.
Like, will you just pick up your phone and say, oh, Bright?
Oh, sorry, guys. Bright is a very close friend of mine. By the way, shout out to Bright. But then, like, the reason why I won't pick up my phone to tell him, but he knows that we talk every day. It doesn't have to be anything serious. It's so crazy that if we haven't spoken in 2 days, we're like, what's happening?
Can you imagine? These are boys.
Yeah, no, so
can you imagine
like, basically,
You can basically take me up the guy have fun more. My day just is very, very busy. Oh. And from there I'll be like, I'm not feeling fine.
Yeah, something like that.
So we always talk. And the crazy thing is I can send Bright a VN now. He will reply me maybe in the night. But at least the goal of talking. Because everybody claims they are busy, Chidera. At some point.
But Suji, that day that you shouted at me.
No, wait.
This I sent you.
Wait. The problem is this. Everybody claims they are busy. At some point, you get married. You are a wife or you are a husband to somebody. You are a father or you are a mother to somebody. You hold, if maybe you are a church person, you probably hold a position in the church. You are an auntie to somebody, you are an uncle. You have multiple personalities of yourself to different set of people, which you have to like fulfill as an adult. So if at the moment everybody's claiming, I'm busy, please, when you get to that level, beg. That means, I don't know, that means you will not see you again now.
At the end of the day, the point of like relationships is communication. So me personally, I'm trying my best to do better for different reasons, because I feel like over the years I've learned I don't say it the hard way, but I've learned to try to do better with communication and all that stuff. So like no matter how much we want to like put up an excuse, I feel like we need to water our friendships. Like just water it based on your terms. Don't just make sure you're sharp putting in effort. Like you shouldn't have like a particular blueprint of how it's meant to go, but make sure that you're watering it in your own way. Agreed? Oh my god, Tunji, I said agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. So yeah, that's what I feel regarding French, because honestly we're in this phase of life where someone is not talking, you're not talking to your friend. Like there are a lot of friendship, I won't say breakups, but people are becoming so distant because
do you know that a lot of people, sorry to question, do you know a lot of people don't even know things about their friends? Like this friendship thing is deeper than the way we make it seem. Some people don't really know a lot. The friend that they claim they have, they don't really know a lot. But I mean,
yeah, okay, guys, we're still debunking myths you have in your 20s, and I just feel like in our 20s, that's when, honestly, I feel like the best friendships you can actually form are in this period. I don't know, because I feel like this is like we're starting life now. Even if we thought we started life before, this is actually when we're starting life. We're starting life in the sense that we actually get to figure out ourselves, probably get married to someone. This is when we actually starting life. So it's good to like make good friends now, and then you look back and like, oh my god, remember when we were 25 and we were clueless or something. Do you get? So I think we really need to put in. I don't want to make this a friendship episode because there are a lot of things to say about this friendship thing, and then people are easily break out of friendship because they didn't put in their best. Honestly, you see people break out of friendships because like they didn't put in their best, and the story is just the same. Everyone has the same stories. But I feel like we're not bending enough. We need to actually bend if we call the person friend, because one solid the pillar of friendship is love. So if we're not going an extent, what exactly are we doing? Do you understand?
True.
So yeah. So I'm going to stop that now. Yeah. So I basically, to round up the whole 20s, I just feel this effort should be put in your friendship, especially when you want it to go far. Like Tunji said, for Tunji, every day, if not, is a deal breaker. Oh, Tunji's friends, I remove coffee.
No, chill. I feel like you're making it seem.
No, I'm just joking.
No, I don't want people to take it the wrong way. I feel like for me, at least, I don't know, I don't have a structured time for it, but I mean, like once in every 2 days, once in every 3 days.
Yeah, something should happen. If not, basically, on my end, honestly, if I'm being very honest, I feel like we should talk at least weekly. I'm not saying, because I know, like, okay, I have a friend that we try to catch up weekly. Like every day, we will try to catch up weekly. Like, do you get? So it's kind of like, I don't know if it's like a weekly recap we are doing, but we should just try to catch up weekly, and it works perfectly well. So I just think it depends.
Well, whatever works for anybody.
Whatever works for you, basically.
But I think I've seen. I think I've seen the reward of talking to people every day.
Okay.
because there's literally nothing that you cannot talk about. And I wouldn't want a situation whereby something happens and
Yeah.
I wouldn't know about
Honestly,
it.
this is quite sad. I can't even say this on this podcast
Because we have time to scroll through social media. We have time to, I don't know, to check what's happening in the news. Please.
Yeah, honestly, this is very hard for me to say. I don't know, but I can't.
But I mean, if that's what works for people's
No,
friendship,
like
I mean, it's
basically
fine.
just put in an effort to communicate with people, because honestly, you could text and your friend is actually dead tomorrow, and that is, you wish you did a whole lot better. So I'm actually with Tunji on, but like that's the thing. People are actually suffocated. You cannot communicate to everybody. That's why they are called your friends.
Is that exactly what I'm saying? That if we go by the word friends,
Yeah.
they are not. If we are being honest with ourselves, I mean, like, and the way you know sometimes is you are in a problem. Who can you call freely to tell, right? If you go by once again friends, I don't think people have a lot. Some people 1, some people 5, max 6. Yeah, I don't know the
How
number.
can you max 6? 6 is a crowd.
Well,
How can you manage all
I
six?
can't speak for everybody, so that's what I'm trying to say that.
Okay, I don't know.
But my point is, me personally, I don't think there are more than 3 people in my life that I know that.
So did you just say I'm not his friend? Because I know the 3 people.
No, to
I beg.
be honest.
Let's continue with our podcast.
Yeah, next point.
Okay, so I feel like we're debunking myths we have in our 20s, but like we should also call a spade a spade. There are things that are actually like meant to be done. Like I don't know, I feel like we're debunking myths. We're saying this, we're saying there's no time life to this, but they're actually things that we're meant to like do in our 20s. Do you get? They're actually things that are meant to happen in your 20s.
Like what?
And this is the part to tell me some of the things that are meant to happen.
Okay, well, I feel like things happening in your 20s.
No, like, see what I'm saying? I'm saying, like, I know we are like, okay, you don't need to get married in your 20s, you don't need to do this in your 20s, but there are things that are actually meant to be done in your 20s. And that's like, I think we've talked about in the previous episode. Everyone is make conscious efforts to discover yourself. Like, you are meant to reinvent your life. I feel like when you're in your 20s, you finished whatever background you came from. You know how it's like people's background shape them to how they are, probably how they grew up and everything. But when you're in your 20s and you know, like, okay, this is the life that has happened to you, most important thing is where you're going. So I feel like it's a time to actually try to reinvent yourself. You cannot be, I'm sorry, I'm trying to be very sensitive as much as I can, but like, you cannot be a grown-ass 30-something going to 40-year-old and you're still trying to heal from, not like, I'm not saying not heal, but you're still letting some of the traces or like that happened in your childhood still be there. I feel like it happened, but the most important thing is what you do about the situation. So in your 20s, that is the time you actually analyze, okay, this is where I'm coming from, where am I going to, if that makes sense.
The problem with what you just said, as much as I agree, but I don't agree completely. There are certain, first of all, everybody has a certain trauma. There's nobody that is devoid of trauma, just to say that. It may be from parents, it may be from relatives, it may be from a bad experience that you've had, but everybody has trauma. There are some traumas that you won't know you have until you get married. Yeah, like you are in marriage before you find out that, oh, like this thing. And I just feel like
no, there are some. That's why you're in a relationship. That's why I feel like, okay, it's not in this podcast. I was in another podcast and I was like, what is your talking stage? Like, when you're dating somebody, you are able to see some of these traumas that you are talking about. Do you understand? It could be in the way, I'm serious, when you date somebody, some of the things that you're meant to realize in your marriage, you see it today.
Yeah, you see some, but I'm still saying not all. For example, someone that has sexual trauma, how are you going to know?
What if you, okay?
And let's imagine you guys have a commitment that, let's imagine you guys have a commitment that you're not going to have sex before marriage.
What kind of trauma can you have sexually? How did that affect you?
You may have had, for example, you may have been raped, for example.
Okay.
When you were a child.
Okay.
And
okay, Agreed. Sexual. That's if you guys are not. That's very good. You guys are not engaging in funny activities before marriage.
Yeah, so that's one trauma. I'm just trying to tell you that it's not everything you see before you get into marriage. However, if you see some and you tell your partner or your significant other, they should begin work on it. Yeah.
So basically, you're saying that everything is a myth. Anything can be done anytime. Basically, I asked that what are the things that basically, how we're like, there's some things that are not meant to be done in your 20s. So you feel like there's no timeline to anything in this life.
Yeah, anything can be done at any time. But what I would say is immediately you find out what you should work on, start working on it immediately. Do not wait. But then I don't think there's any. Some people find out some traumas at age 50.
True.
Yeah.
But I just feel like basically in your 20s you're like building your life.
The only thing is
your life starting in your 20s. Like that is when your life. That's when you are beginning. I'm not saying that's when you start living, but kind of like that's when your journey is beginning. So like it's your responsibility to actually discover yourself, and do all of that. Look at where you're coming from and determine where you want to go. So Tunji, does marriage really stop anything? In our last podcast, you were like, there are certain things, like how we talked about running around naked, building sandcastles and all that. And then you're like, there are certain things that need to be done at a certain time, which is true. How about like marriage though? You talked about how marriage, kids can stop you. I know a couple, everyone has that Instagram couple that they always talk about.
Yeah.
Do you have one?
No, I don't have somebody, so I don't have.
No, like that Instagram couple that you always like look through their page and then you'll be like, you don't have that. I have one.
I'm quite stoked to next time, but yeah, continue. I see quite a number of them anyways.
Yeah, but like, so there's this particular couple, and I feel like, honestly, I've said this before. I used to feel like my life ends at a particular time. So I just feel like once you enter marriage, you're just in bondage to one stupid man. So I'm not saying stupid man. You're just going to be with one man, and then your life pauses because you have to take care of your children, take care of your family, but like I've legit seen people go ahead, and I've seen them even begin their lives. Do you get? It kind of now brings like a mind shift that what if marriage is not the end, but it could actually be the beginning?
First of all, I wouldn't want to use those pages as a yardstick.
Okay.
Because first of all, it takes a lifetime to know a successful marriage. You see people.
Yeah, I'm not saying their marriage is successful. Basically, I'm just talking about like how you feel like your life ends when.
I know. I'm getting there. So that was just like a little diversion. So the point I was trying to make from there is sometimes what you think, the way something appears may not be how it is. Yeah. But then like I think it depends on, first of all, it depends on the kind of person you got married to, how well you guys understand each other. Because thinking about it, there are quite a number of, I don't think your life should stop. First of all, have a life of yourself. I think I said this last time. Have a life of yourself. Be happy. A lot of people think marriage is what's going to make them happy. How do you entrust your happiness in the hand of another person? That's too much job for somebody to do to make you happy.
Oh my god.
So
I'm sorry, Tunji. This should be a podcast episode. Like, genuinely speaking, I feel people put their happiness in some people. I feel there are some people that want to find the one because they feel that person can complete them. And that is a very, very wrong way to see it.
Wait,
like you have
if it's in terms of complete you.
When I mean complete, people are just longing. Yes, I think it's complete. They just need someone. They just feel like when they finally find that person, the bottle is filled up.
Okay. If it's that, no. I feel like you should get to a point where you are okay, and I mean you are honestly okay with being single. Like you are at this point in your life where whether somebody comes, whether somebody doesn't come, like you would like to have somebody, but peradventure somebody's not coming around. You're fine, like you're okay in yourself. And what people don't know is the more successful you get, the more attractive you are. Successful people when you're successful, you're very, very attractive. So instead of sulking,
Attractive as both a guy and a girl.
yeah, both ways, and it's sort of upgrades the prospect of people you are going to have. Yeah, you have a higher, I don't want to say higher class, but if you want to use that word, fine. Yeah, but like I was saying, I think you should be happy by yourself when these things are done. How understanding is the man you are getting married to? How understanding
Exactly.
is the
So do you
woman?
feel like it's more of who you get married to than marriage itself?
Yeah, to be honest, marriage is beautiful. The problem with life now is the people that have failed marriages speak more than people who have successful marriages. I wish people who have successful marriages speak more too, because whenever something bad is happening, people that committed the bad crime plus the people that did not speak, they are both guilty.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you have good marriage, like come out, like you don't have to maybe have it doesn't have to be something serious, maybe Instagram page with your spouse, but come out, speak about it,
Yeah, most
share.
people, do you know most people do that? Is the whole point of people having Instagram pages or YouTube channels is to kind of make you know that marriage can work, like to make you see the good sides of marriage. Is I know, I won't. Yeah, that's part of why they do that. Are you
No,
aware? Apart from
I
that,
don't
they want to
think
get money. Sure.
I don't think it's about marriage can work. I think it's about marriage. You can have fun in your marriage because those are two different things. A lot of our parents, their marriages are still working, but then if you ask
No,
them,
you know we're becoming digitalized, so it's just their own way of telling you that marriage can work. That's how I see it.
well, maybe, but I just feel like there's first of all there are certain changes that will happen. Let's not forget that. For example, you can't stay out at night than you normally would because when you get married, you're not accountable to somebody.
What if you go out with your husband?
Yeah, it's fine. I'm talking about if the husband is out at night or the wife is out at night, there's somebody that is checking up on you.
Well,
Like,
I don't know how. I only see their Instagram pages. I don't live in their houses. I'm not. I don't like. Are you married, Tunji?
no, I'm not married,
Okay.
but I'm just saying there are certain things that they're going to change. You can't do your boys hangout as much as you normally
You do,
would,
yeah,
or
true.
your girl hangout. But my point is, you guys can make it work, have fun, and still have a very, very, very good marriage. And that's why people say married, like be friends with your partner, because
marry your friend.
yeah, because a large majority of the time you're going to spend, you guys are going to
If
spend
you have a
it.
good friend, you know you have a good wife.
I have a slight bias about that.
Why?
When people say marry your best friend, a lot of people are going to slander me for this. But when people say marry your best friend, I have a slight alteration to that, because what if, and I don't know if I'm going to be explained properly, but what if your best friend is not you're not attracted to your best friend? If you say marry your friend, I agree, but when you add best friend to it, that is
I
when
don't
I have
understand. What if you're not
disagreement.
attracted to your friend too?
Now this is what I'm going to say. The thing about relationship is people do the complete opposite of what should be done. For example, people use relationship to sample the guy instead of sampling the guy from being friends, instead of being in a relationship. For example, you meet a guy says, "Oh Chidera, I like you, this one, this one." But then you guys start talking as friends, right? You build this friendship. You know that there's nothing bad in your friend saying, "Chidera, let's go on a date. Maybe let's go to a restaurant to go and eat." There's nothing bad. But then I just feel like things like that, people wait it out until they're in a relationship. From going out, from speaking regularly, you start knowing things if this guy meets the kind of guy you're looking for. Instead of you are now in a relationship and you're trying to check out if this guy has certain things. So from being friends normally, for example, from being friends with you, I know certain things that some people you know that your personalities are not like, it's never going to work. How many people even know their personality types? Not a lot of people do. So these are things that you use to assess, okay, is it going to, so if you say marry your friend, because by the time you guys must have spoken, you guys have become friends. If you say marry your friend, I can agree, but marry your best friend, nah. If the person is your best friend, no problem, but marry your friend, I agree. Marry your best friend, I don't agree.
Oh, Tunji, marry who you want to marry, you guys. Basically, I just feel like for anyone who still thinks like marriage is the end, I just feel like if I want to come into what Tunji said, this podcast is not going to end. Like Tunji, why is there any time we have a podcast? It's so like it's on end. Like on it, if I'm to pick out something he said, that's why I just let him talk.
Wait, what did I say that I don't agree?
Nothing. So as we're saying, I just feel like, so you guys, if you're still of the opinion that marriage is the end, I feel like it's more about who you marry than the marriage itself. So I still see people who get married as young as 21 and they are still living their lives with their husband. Because some people will be like, oh my god, how will she get married at 21? Doesn't she have a life to live? You get
Well, because there's statistics that support, or sorry, that is against like young marriages. Young marriages fail often than not.
Mario.
I mean, yours can be different. I'm not saying it's going to fail, but I'm just trying to say statistically, young marriages fail often than not.
Mario, if you see the person that you feel that is right for you, talk to God, talk to your mother, talk to your father, talk to your guardian, and go and marry. Okay, guys. So Tunji, 20. Oh no, like we're meant to have started with this 20. Why on earth do you feel like I should leave my father's house at 20? Someone, a listener said, why? What are you saying? Elon Musk's younger brother. Explain yourself.
Alright.
Warren Buffett.
I don't think there's anything I'm going to say that is going to change certain people's opinion, first of all.
But like I feel
so
like
just a disclaimer.
It's like on the other hand, everyone, we're living this life and it feels like not everybody, especially right now, has left their father's house in their 20s. Like 20s feels like such a very unrealistic number.
Well, first of all, if you can remember what I said last time out, I said if you are still living with your parents, it's fine. I mean, I am still living with my parents. It's fine. But then what I said was, if you aren't, it's also fine. And then you asked me the age. I said 20. Now, here is the thing. A lot of parents, at least some parents that they have the means, send their kids abroad to school, right? And then in most cases these people are young. I mean, they just left secondary school, for crying out loud. So maybe
parents that send their children abroad.
Yeah.
Okay.
You still live in your parents' house. That's the point I'm trying to make. You left your parents' house, you went to school. You still live in your parents' house.
Most people saw it from the point of like settling down, basically. Some people are not done with uni at 20. Not some are, some aren't.
Yeah, but even the normal life, here is the catch. There is this thing birds do, that when they give birth to a young bird, now the bird is trying to fly because it doesn't know what it means to fly. Now the mother takes the bird, like the young bird, flies the bird so high and leaves the bird. Now the mother is not being wicked. The mother is just trying to allow the bird to find its own way. If you're living alone, you're going to make mistakes, and that's the joy of staying alone. It may not work. Anything I'm going to say, Nigerians are going to disagree because it's not normal in the Nigerian setting. But I think maybe because why I think this way is I read a lot, and the biographies of people I read is almost a part of me. But I just believe that aside maybe the insecurity that we have in Nigeria now, I just believe that at age 20, I mean, you're an adult by 18, Chidera. You can vote by 18.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So like, why we're making it look, I just feel like people get babied a lot. At 18, you can vote. Literally. In some countries, at 18, you are going to the war front to go and fight. You are a man. So I don't want to overdrag it. Like I said, people are still not going to believe, or they're still not going to agree with me. It's fine if you don't agree, but I just believe that 20, yes, you may say the person is still young, but I mean, it will expose you. You get matured, and I think it will make you get more responsible. But if you're still with your parents, I'm not slandering you, please, it's fine.
Because I know all of you are still with your parents, even when you guys are like almost 30. Twinkie is coming from the point, from the perspective that that's the normal time you're meant to go. But if you've not left, like there's no time limit to all these things. So even if you've not left, work harder, guys. Work harder. Leave your parents' house. I think it's time. Basically, I think it's time. So, Tunji, we're done with this. Okay, let me not call it a series, but we're done with this. We're done debunking myths people have in their 20s till further notice. So, what do you need? What's take home assignment? What do you want to tell, like, the world? What do you want to tell a 20-something-year-old listening right now as we are wrapping up this series?
What I would say is live your life to the fullest. Try to enjoy your life. If you find things that you think are obstacles to the kind of life you want to live, if there are things you need to work on, try to work on it. But I mean, live your life. Like sometimes, like just like when Chidera asked me about communication, I feel like I'm big on communication. I mean, if you aren't big on communication, it's fine, but don't try to now bend.
No, I feel like why you're not big on communication, work on yourself. I don't know, just do what works.
No,
for you.
like what I'm even saying is, if it works for you and your friends, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. For example, I don't think I'll compromise. I can compromise on the communication style. If maybe I'm not really a calling person, I'm more of a texting person. But there are some of my friends I call because I know that is what appeals to them more. But the goal is for us to communicate at the end of the day. So just if it's something you can bend for bend, but if it's something you can't deal with, then I mean, literally, just live your life to the fullest.
So you've not apologized for me for the video you sent to me at 4 a.m.
Oh, I'm sorry. I will try. I'll try to be more diplomatic when I'm criticizing. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so you guys, we're finally done with this series. We touched friendships, marriage to the best of our knowledge, moving near your parents' house, and all that. So basically, make sure you're working on yourself. I feel for any 20-something-year-old out there, whatever, like basically, it's not about where you're coming from, it's about where you're going. So it's your duty to reinvent yourself. Like, I feel like the beautiful thing about life is that you can reinvent yourself. Like you can improve yourself to be what you want to be. So there's no need for you to keep staying there and accepting defeat based on how there's nature and nurture. My dad always says, there's nature and there's nurture. So nature is how you are, nurture is what you strive to become. So especially now that we're still young, as much as we're trying to go to parties, live our best life, there's no good. And try your best to know God for yourself, and try your best to build the life that you actually want for yourself, because you're capable, basically. So yeah, and that involves your love style, like how you communicate with your friends, everything. Just reinvent your life. Like, you can't just sit down there and say, oh, I don't know how to text, I don't need to reply my text, I just sit down there. Like, why? Stand up from your seats and do better.
Actually, people that say that's the way I am.
Yeah, so you shouldn't just accept defeat. Like, you could be so much
if you have a bad character, like, try to work on it.
Like, be better. Like, especially in your 20s, it should be so sad that you're almost in your 30s, and like, I'm not saying even if you're in your 30s and you realize you can still get better. Like Tunji said, there's no like timeline to all these things. But now that you are still in your 20s, do better for yourself and people around you. I feel I'm talking to myself as well. So, just do better for yourself in general. Okay, guys, that's all for today. See you guys same time next week. We already know the drill. Please listen. Thank you so much for listening. Put your loved ones on this goodness. Just tell everybody about the TCO podcast and drop a review. I'll really, really love and appreciate your review. See you guys same time next week. Bye.